Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Football it is. At the start of the show, we have our final lineup completed of not just the Euros but the Copa as well. But the Euros, what a stunning semi-final. England beating the Netherlands and Ollie Watkins. What a night of football for him as well. After that controversial penalty from Harry Kane, I think England had to produce something scintillating to make it to the finals, and that's what they did. Because, you know, till the end of the game, it was the Dutch to lose, and that's what happened. But, you know, Watkins out of nowhere, oh my goodness. With each passing day, first we talk about Lamine Yamal, one of the best goals of the tournament, and this one, what a great finish, clinical, absolutely, and that self-belief from that. We talk about the Copa America, where Colombia have made it through to face Argentina. They beat Uruguay 1-0. They take on, of course, Argentina in the final on the 15th. Uruguay is going to take on Canada for third place on the 14th of July. Tremendous performance. To beat a team like Uruguay, it really required a lot of heart, and Colombia were able to do that. Ali Mehdi is a really happy man for reasons outside football for Colombia to qualify. So we'll talk about that and give you that as well. Then of course we move on to cricket, where PCB has developed now a new strategy for the selection committee. So far, Asad Shafiq, Mohammad Yusuf, the two coaches of two formats, Gary Kirsten and Jason Gillespie, and the format captains will be part of the selection committee, and the name of the chief selector would be announced later on. So I think only time will tell, but elsewhere the discipline matters circling around Shaheen Shah Afridi, the reports that have come out that have been submitted by Azhar Mahmood and the head coach as well, Gary Kirsten, against the behavior of Shaheen Shah Afridi is certainly that has raised a lot of alarm bells in PCB and outside PCB as well. So that now is really going to set the tone, and there are chances of Shaheen probably being dropped from the team for the time being. And like I said, that this is now a very dangerous juncture. If they've decided to take an action strictly on discipline, then I think the example should be set. And nobody is bigger than Pakistan cricket. And I think that report is really something that's going to make a lot of difference. Even the team manager Mansoor Rana has also been sacked as well because he failed to neutralize the situation that was arising, that I do talk about those disciplinary matters. So we'll talk about that as well in detail. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios we've been joined by sports expert Malik Usman Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing well.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by sports expert Mr. Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm very well.
Well, how are you after Colombia, first of all? I must ask you that.
I'm over the moon. I'm so happy Colombia is there, obviously for football reasons and reasons outside football.
What is outside football?
Outside football is that Ali Mehdi wanted Colombia to qualify because he wanted to see Shakira. So that's what was
Yeah,
happening.
because it is Shakira is Colombian herself, and she's always, on a serious note, she's always wanted Colombia in a final of a championship. They've never been able, in recent history, they haven't obviously made a World Cup final, or they've made a final of a Copa America. So for them to make a final against Argentina, it's a mouth-watering time.
Certainly it is. But let's, I think, start from the Euros as well. Usman, I think complete affair that England has, deserved this victory. The way they were performing, I mean, even during half-time, I was watching the analysis as well, where all three panelists said that after that first goal, England just went hungry for an equalizer. And, there was a different football that we were seeing from England.
We can say that when life throws at you lemons, make lemonades. That is what England did, I think. They conceded, and they were in an unknown territory, and it was a knockout game, and they just flexed their attacking muscles, and that is what we all expected from the day one of this tournament, which England, I just don't understand why they were so conservative and why they were playing so defensive football. They have so much attacking talent. I would say that they have a better attacking talent than their defense, but they were relying more on not losing the game rather than winning the game. And when the circumstances brought forward to them in this knockout semi-final was that they have to score goals and win this game, else it would go to the penalties, which is in itself a lottery. And that is what England did. They did flex their attacking muscles, and we saw what this England side is capable of doing. Don't get me wrong, I thought that after 1-1, I saw England winning this game. There was no way that I was seeing Netherlands doing their bit to win this game, although they were extremely good on dead balls, but there were no clear-cut chances, and all the attacks were coming from England, and most of the game was being played in the Netherlands half, the Dutch half. And although I'm supporting Spain, But I won't be surprised if England wins this tournament. They have got all the quality, they have their resources, they have all their areas covered. It's only that they were playing so conservatively. I have to see how brave they are going to be in the final. If they are brave enough as they were in the semi-finals after conceding the first goal, I think England has all the right to be European champions. And mind you, this was the first ever semi-final European victory on a foreign soil for England. So we can see how underachieving this England as a country has been in football. But this lot has all the good players, and they have some such attacking young talent, and they have been together for some time now. So they do trust each other, and I'm very proud of Southgate. How can you take off Harry Kane in the regular time? These are brave decisions that you need to take and to win the tournaments, because it's at the end of the day, it's a team game.
But
and
you know,
Watkins
Usman,
did-
that decision that you made, I think all of your decisions are tactically correct if you're winning. Had it been otherwise, then there would have things been different. But Ali Mehdi, it's almost home, isn't it?
It definitely is. It's almost home. I mean, second European final in like 3 years' time, in the space of 3 years. Last time, let's not forget, against Italy, they lost at Wembley. That hurt very much when they lost at penalties. They've done it again. And you've got to give Gareth Southgate credit. Look, ever since the 2018 World Cup, he's made one semi-final. He's made one quarter-final. He's one semi-final and one quarter-final at the World Cups respectively, and now two finals at European Championships. He's done an incredible job. We can say all sorts of stuff with him. The media has been cutting him to pieces. The punditry has been against him too. The BBC, everybody for that matter, have been saying stuff. But you have to give the guy credit. You know, despite making really conservative and bad decisions at first regarding substitutions, he's really risen a level. And I think the tipping point was against the match against Switzerland. That is where I thought they played much better football. They brought in Kobe Mainoo, who I, as a Manchester United supporter, and yourself, you know, very pleased to see. I mean, he's brought that, you know, midfield hole which they have. You know, he's over there. He gets the ball forward. His passing accuracy is very good, because look, the thing with them is that they were losing the ball too much. With him coming, you know, they did.
Yes, that question has been answered. That possession question has improved. But we're going to talk about, you know, what it means now going to the final, and what are the areas which England or Spain need to work on, or is their strengths and weaknesses. But before that, let's take a look at the match highlights in this report. And there you have it, all you need to know about the match highlights and what transcended on this great night of football in this report by Sabah. So we are bound to talk about that penalty, Usman, first of all. I think we have to talk about that penalty.
See, first and foremost, we have to agree that Sabah is on my side. It was a controversial penalty, that is for sure. But at the end of the day, decisions do go here and there, and this is what tournaments and knockouts are all about. But you cannot take credit away from England also. Let's be fair about it. England were the better side, and they played better. They thoroughly deserved to go through to the final. They dominated the game totally. And it was one team that was looking to score, and that was England. And once you are defending, you cannot score a goal. And if you don't have football at your feet, you are again not going to score unless it is going to be an own goal, which usually France have benefited, not other teams as much. So all in all, I think with 64% possession at one time in the game, England was thoroughly over the Netherlands. And if you can just speak about one of those moments, I think that was one-off moment. But all in all, if you think that had it not been a penalty, I still saw England scoring a goal certainly. And had the game gone further, it was all England. I think Netherlands were just looking to play counter, which they were not so successful. And at the end of the day, they had to heavily rely on the dead balls, which were not coming thick and fast. All in all, I think it's a well-deserved final for England. But one thing I would like to speak about is Spain is going to be the one real tough team that England is going to face in this whole tournament. Ali Madibhai was talking about how successful England has been over the recent times in Euro specifically. Let's talk about 2020 Euro, which was played in 2021. I think Italy was the only team that they faced was a tough team in the final, and certainly England started as favourites. Yet they lost the final on penalty shootouts, and they did not close out the game in the extra time or the normal time. And I'm sure they won't take this risk with this kind of Spanish side, which is playing all about expression. It's all expressive football. They are not going to sit back like Netherlands. It is true. It is going to be fire versus fire. If England can bring that fire of attacking prowess that they have in their side, I think it is going to be an absolute cracker. It's going to be end-to-end football. If England are overwhelmed by the attacking prowess of Spain, I think it is going to be a one-way traffic, and I will not be surprised if Spain wins this, because they had an extremely tough route to the final and they are battle hardened. They have faced the tougher teams, much tougher than England, with all due respect to England, but final is a final.
Well, certainly, but the fact is the fact, Ali Mehdi. Let's be honest, all of us have our doubts about that penalty.
Look, I actually thought that, if you're looking at that penalty, I thought it was slightly harsh, and that is because, it was on impact basis, and if you look at the minuscule and if you look at in a microscopic way, then obviously through VAR you could say so, but I will say it was a bit of a orange sort of a decision too, meaning that, it could have gone either way, but I genuinely feel that it was harsh. But look, at the end of the day, yes, he did foul. He did have clatter into the defender did clatter into the Kane's leg for that matter, and it was given. Yes, Virgil van Dijk, the Dutch captain, he was very angry at the end of the match. He said that, we went to confront the referee, but the referee went straight into the dressing room, and we can understand that for that matter, because it was one of those sort of decisions. But look, on the whole 90 minutes, England were the better team. They had 9 total shots, 5 on target, and I thought Phil Foden was absolutely brilliant in that first half. He had 3 long-range shots, what he does day in and day out for Manchester City. 1 hit the post, the other one actually the keeper actually saved too. Kane had a couple of chances too, but like I was mentioning earlier, I think that conundrum of England's midfield has been solved, and that is that with the form of Kobbie Mainoo. He is the sort of person, he does not give the ball away. He actually does the basic things very well. Is those intricate passes, passing accuracy is extremely high because of him. 92% they had England, and that is because Mainoo actually drives the ball forward. He gets into these positions, gives the ball to Saka, Foden, Rice, passes, and he's very important. He's very mobile. So that for that matter, you have to give credit, for that matter to, I would say that the form he had at Manchester United and helping him win the FA Cup, he's transferred that to England, and I thought that he was that missing piece. And you see, ever since he's playing regularly, England are playing much better. Total, they had a lot of possession, but now they're, like Usman Bhai mentioned, they are playing their first real test, and that is in the form of Spain. They have to learn their lessons from 2021, where they obviously were favourites, but they did not actually deliver. They've gotten another opportunity. They have to grab this with 2 hands, because you don't get such opportunities of making finals every year.
Well, certainly that could be the case, but for England's equation now, considering the challenge up ahead, Usman, how would you tactically analyze both teams? What must they do on that night when it matters the most?
I think it's going to be a good game. Lamille versus Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw has to play this 90 minutes, and I think he will be playing this 90 minutes. It's going to be the key. That area, I thought, is going to be one of the more defining places where finals can be decided. Secondly, I think Mainoo, as Ali Mehdi is talking about a lot, I think Mainoo has been a revelation. A year ago, nobody heard about his name, and suddenly he's very much into the final, and he might start in the playing 11 as well. Him versus Rodri, I think it's going to be a battle of midfield. If you have to start your attacks, it has to be a strong midfield. We saw that yesterday as well, when Depay was taken off and then midfielder was included in the playing 11 for the Netherlands. It became a far more even game than it was before that. So Rodri, I think he's going to hold the key for Spain in the middle of the pitch, and Mainoo has to hold the ball a lot. Reece needs to have a better game as well. But I think if you look at the attacking prowess, see, Spain for that matter, you cannot just single out any player apart from Rodri, who has a very, very clear function to execute for the Spanish side. Apart from him, there is an X factor for the Spanish side, let me tell you. See, there are no stars in this side. So every player, it's a synergy effect. It is 1 + 1 = 11. So you just cannot man mark or zonal mark any one player like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe for that matter. But for me, I think that the right wing of Spanish side, where usually Lamine Yamal operates, and from where Luke Shaw will come into play, and I think they won't take the risk of playing Trippier on the left back. It has to be Luke Shaw, and that angle is going to be one of the defining factors for that matter. All in all, it's going to be a good, exciting game, and I think Spain will bring the attacking prowess out of this England side. England will realize, but this is not a Spanish side where they can defend for the 90 minutes in this World Cup. And certainly both teams are not excellent on dead balls as well. They like to play free-flowing football, and if England can bring that into it, I think it's going to be box-to-box fight. I think for that matter, Rodri is going to be the key.
But I think that's a good tactical analysis, Ali Mehdi, because the fact is that this young Spanish side is all about scoring goals, and I think that's eventually bound to happen. but why? Then you obviously you troll me as well for saying Pickford again and again. That's going to make the real difference once again.
No, he's
because England's defensive errors. Let me just add one. Have been horrible this entire tournament.
They have been horrible, but now England actually playing better. I mean, when it comes to defensively, they've been doing well. In the past 2 games too, I think they've done much better defensively, obviously in the penalties in the previous game too. But I think in this match, what's very, very important is that, Luke Shaw, like Usman Bhai mentioned, is the most important thing is he's come, he played very well, he played that second half, and I think he should be ready for that final because they cannot play Trippier. Trippier is not a naturally left, does not play on the left. You need the best left-footed, the left back, and that is obviously Luke Shaw. I think he's going to be very critical. But at the same time, what's very important is, look, Spain are going to have majority of the ball. They're going to have majority of the ball. We know that for their philosophy is such, they like playing tiki-taka, or they maybe not tiki-taka this time, but they like playing a lot of possession.
They're more direct now.
They are more direct now. But the thing is that this time, England are going to play a team which is going to have more possession.
I think they're more predictable, England. They've only, focused on the wings right now, what I've believed.
Yeah, they have focused more on the wings, and that's because, they go through Saka and obviously they go on the other side too. But this time they have to get the ball through the middle, and that's why I think Menu is going to be very important. Like I said, he gets into these very important positions, but the important thing is you have to get through. I think the most critical players England want to win this match is how they have to take care of Rodri. Rodri is the best defensive midfielder in the world, and he is like a bull. He does not let you get through him, and he's the reason why Manchester City whenever he played for Manchester City until the FA Cup final, they never lost until obviously Kobbie Mainoo and Manchester United defeated him. But he's the most important. He's that cog, and if they can get through him, they have a chance.
Take him out of the equation. Then what happens? That's interesting.
No, if they take him out of the equation, I think they have a good chance.
But at the same time, you want England players to step up as well. You were talking about Rice. I think you need more from these players.
You need more from Rice. All of them have to have the games of their lives. And Kane really needs to deliver on the day. He's going to get half chances. He's got to convert those half chances. What he's been doing at Bayern Munich, being the Europe's top scorer, he needs to convert that for his national team if he wants to lift that European Champions Cup on Sunday.
Yeah, sort of homeboy favorite, isn't he? So I mean,
he's playing in Germany.
Yeah, he's been in Germany. So the fact is that all of these players, if they step up their A game, I think it's a night of all to play for. But that's going to be the case as well. But obviously, we move on and we quickly discuss the Copa America as well. Argentina and Colombia have made it to the final. All indicators are right now towards Argentina. But aren't you a happy man, Ali Mehdi, that Colombia's made it to the final?
I'm extremely happy that they made it to a final. I love Colombia for that matter. And the reason why that, obviously outside football reasons, is you go back to 2014 World Cup when
Shakira.
Of course, that is the major reason. But other than that, you go back to 2014. Usman Bhai would remember in Brazil. I mean, what a team they were.
James Rodriguez.
James Rodriguez. And now cometh the man, cometh the moment. James Rodriguez has, as the captain of 10 years later, as the captain of this Colombia, has an opportunity to lift the trophy. And they haven't lifted a trophy for a while. If you talk about the game yesterday, it was really dirty, the game, There were scenes at the end of it. Nunez went and crashed into the fans too, but they didn't play very good football. But the thing is, they got the job
Well,
done.
please excuse me for saying this, but that's the flavor of South American football.
Yeah, that is the flavor. Right. And that's why if they want to have a chance against Argentina, they'll have to make it difficult for them. They'll have to be rugged. They'll have to be very dirty in that.
Absolutely.
That's the only way they can win.
Well, one, isn't it? You'll have fires, riot police, all sorts of things happening, things being thrown on the pitch. That's what South American football is all about.
Absolutely no surprises about that. Even if you show me a picture that this is pictures from a football game, I would straight away call for the continent from where it is coming. So that is the flair. It's raw emotions, we can say, and I think that is, if you excuse me, I think that is the beauty of that area as well. There is lot of raw talent over there, but likewise raw emotions as well. I think that is the beauty of South American football, and that is what engages us fans as well, the neutrals one, who would love to watch their football. I think there is lot of flair in their football, There is a lot of expression in their football.
Right.
It is not so methodical. There is natural
So
flair. in that.
Argentina or Colombia, Osman,
Sir,
very quickly.
I would love to see Colombia winning this.
Yeah.
Well, why not? I
Yes,
mean, for the
I-
flavor
of
of it.
course,
James
Colombia. Who
Rodriguez.
else?
See, James Rodriguez, fan favorite for the past decade or so. I think he has underachieved a
Right,
lot in his
definitely.
in his life. I think in his professional life. I'm
Professional
talking
careers,
about.
obviously.
I think he was too good, and he went to Real Madrid, and suddenly his just form dipped and his career dipped, and yet again he has risen from the ashes. And it's no surprise he has taken his team to the final, where he will meet Argentina, Lionel Messi.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very tough one there as well, but it's going to be interesting. I hope Ali Mehdi can focus on Shakira rather than Shaqiri, but but you never know.
Shaqiri is already out of the
Right, I
tournament
know,
now.
but you know, just for the fun sake of it, let Ali Mehdi win this one, shouldn't you?
please.
But thank you very much, Usman and Ali Mehdi, for joining us. We take a short break now. When we come back, we discuss cricket. Stay tuned.
It is the foremost responsibility of the international community, human rights organizations, and all human beings to protect the basic rights of children, regardless of their nationality and religion. Unfortunately, Indian troops have been snatching the basic rights of innocent children and trampling them under their feet for many decades. Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir is a lingering issue where not only the political, social, and human rights of the innocent Kashmiris are being severely violated, but also genocide is committed against them. Human rights organizations and international institutions have often published reports exposing Indian state terrorism, brutality, and the
Welcome back to Sports Extra. Now we move on to cricket, and joining us in studios is first-class cricketer and cricket expert Kashif Majeed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam, Ahmed. Perfectly all right.
And we've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst Taha Mohyuddin Khan. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam, very fine, thank you.
Right, Kashif, before I come to the new selection committee, all sorts of names have been, I think, publicly opened now. I confirmed the legitimacy of that report of Azhar Mahmood, which was obviously so-called rumoured right now, but I have gotten a confirmation from sources that it is a legitimate report. So I think the cat is out of the bag now, isn't it?
It's perfectly all right. I guess let's find out what's happening inside the team and what's happening inside the dugout or the dressing room, because it's just not the cricket within that boundary line matters. It's the environment of that dugout, because as a team you move to a tournament and you find out you have to be staying there for at least a month's time, and that month's time it's just not playing cricket. It's everything was included in that package, and most probably this was bound to happen thanks to Azhar Mahmood to come up with those reports, and Gary Kiston of course with his report. So let's find out how this PCB who's going on a good direction and actually pretty strict on certain matters, how this PCB works now with all those reports going on.
Well, certainly, Taha, probably like I said that, you know, we had a hunch of the way things are going to go, but I think they've divided it right now to two parts. One, first of all, selection committee was to blame. They chopped heads from the selection committee. Number two, now a disciplinary matter is coming up, and I think that Gary Kirsten report and Babar Azam and of course Azhar Mahmood report, and Jason Gillespie saying that Shaheen's bowled more bowls than Mitchell Stark in that past 1 year, hints at probably they're looking to rest him. So that is probably going to be the second phase of this disciplinary matters now.
Yes, Ahmed, since that statement came from the PCB chairman a month ago that we are going to see a surgery, I guess he took adequate time to assess the things, and he waited for all the coaching staff, the captain, the senior manager to submit their reports. And then on the basis of that, he said a few days ago that I don't want to rush into a decision. He invited all the people. He had a detailed meeting with all the coaching staff who was on the tour, with the captain as well. And on the basis of mutual consensus, these couple of decisions were being taken to sack 2 people from the selection committee, and then from their additional roles as well. I would like to point out a factor here that a report which is not being put out in the public is also of the senior manager. He has also submitted a report. We are yet to see the findings of that report as well. So any action is going to be taken on the basis of that report. We need to find out basically the point of view of Wahab Riaz as well. If there were some disciplinary issues with the premier fast bowler of the Pakistan cricket team, then what was the on-tour managing committee was doing? The
I think that's one of the reasons why Mansoor Rana as a manager has been removed from the team.
Yes, if that's if it's a thing on the basis of that, if they have taken the right decision, then in the past we have seen that a couple of disciplinary issues were faced with the Pakistani team visiting South Africa in the T20 World Cup of 2007, and the manager on tour, he decided right away to take disciplinary action. So if that was the case, if a similar case happened here, then why didn't the manager take any decision?
Well, certainly that's an important factor, but Kashif, the point of contention over here is that this is not the first time. Look, I've been saying this, that the most dangerous word for Pakistan cricket is lobbying, lobby system. That has been clearly identified. It's not the first time. In the past, this ill word has been, wreaking havoc in Pakistan cricket team. But over the years, we have never been able to set an example. Can we see this happening this time, if that is 110% accurate that he was involved in lobbying?
If he was, certain actions need to be taken. When we talk about Pakistan cricket, the history says whenever the players were the powerful, they were powerful because they make a lobby. And whenever the institution was powerful, the player was always fragile. And so this is how cricket moves on in Pakistan. It's always about institution of PCB versus the players of the team. And this is we've seen Babar Azam and all those guys who've been part of this team for the last 3 or 4 years. They've been quite strong contenders to take on the actions of different players, and inclusions in the team certainly rest on the Babar Azam and or all those guys who've been part of the team. But right now, with the inclusion of them in the selection committee, makes things quite easy. It's PCB, not PCB versus the players. It's PCB and players now will be thinking on that note of selecting a team. You talk about lobby, we talk about certain players.
But before I'm removed from the team, coach is right now furious on the fact that 2007 Shoaib Akhtar had a feud with Mohammad Asif, if we remember. And of course, then the decision was taken to remove him. Suhail Tanveer was brought into the side. So obviously, what he means is Shine's not bigger than Shoaib.
I guess Shoaib Akhtar has a feud with Afridi, or more probably. They were fighting, and Asif was the one who was there to stop Shoaib Akhtar or
collateral damage.
And he came in between the bat and Shahid Afridi. So this was how it goes on. And Shoaib was sent to the tour. And Shoaib actually mentioned that in one of those interviews that he asked forgiveness from Asif, that if you can forgive me, I'll be staying here. And Asif said no, and rest is history. So this is how okay. Ahmed, me, you and the coach listening to us and even watching us, we all know cricket is a team game, and there are certain heated debates when it comes to the dressing room. Whenever you go through those rough patches as a team or even as an individual, there are certain moments of indiscipline or anger in the dressing room. The things happening in the dressing room should be sorted out in dressing room. The moment they came out to the public, the cat is out of the bag. There is no way going back.
But it is certainly, I think everybody's been exposed, Taha, and even people outside Pakistan cricket right now, former cricketers, their statements right now make a lot of sense where the way things were going and how they've been handled back by PCB, let's be honest.
Yes, Ahmed, one should not forget that before the World Cup, there also came a statement from Shaheen Shah Afridi that he's not interested in taking the vice captaincy.
He was never offered. He was never offered. Let me clarify this again.
But I guess that it was discussed amongst the selectors that we can offer him this position, and somehow this statement came on the social media that he's not interested, and it came with his consent. So I believe that things went on fishy from that moment. That player, I'm all for player power. I mean, they have the right to basically give their opinions, but once you are a centrally contracted player, you cannot allow your players to give such statements on social media, especially going into the World Cup, which is going to affect the unity of the team. Which I mean, you see, there is one purpose, that is Pakistan. You are representing Pakistan on the international stage. You are the brand ambassador of Pakistan. Such statements coming from players, the likes of disagreement amongst the players, and the factor of lobbying. I mean, I'm all for investigating these things after the World Cup, but once you are going to the World Cup, the management was seeing such kind of behavior from certain players. They should have taken a strict action, that they should have been brought for some motivational sessions, for some guidance by the PCB chairman or the touring committee, that you guys need to be on one page going into the World Cup, because you're representing Pakistan and it's a mega tournament. So it's all about Pakistan. Players should not forget that purpose, and I believe things are going to the right direction at this point in time, but something should have been done before the World Cup for this factor.
Well, certainly they would, and I would say that it really leaves a bad taste, but the fact is that if we set an example now, it probably is going to make a difference. Kashif, final thoughts on the fact that in this entire scenario now, this new selection committee policy, where you've got captains of the formats, your two head coaches of both formats, and then Asad Shafiq, Mohammad Yusuf. Right now, there's no chief selector so far decided.
I guess I agree to the fact that then the onus of selecting the team lies on everybody. The guy who is asking them to play within those ropes, and the guy who is selecting them to represent Pakistan within those ropes. All those guys are sitting in one table or one room and selecting the team. So most probably there will be no sacking, there will be no scapegoat, and everyone will be reliable, and everyone will be thinking on the note that this is their team, and they've been part of picking those team. And I like it. Australia started that way back in 80s, and the captain was part of the selection committee, and most probably this is how things work in Pakistan. And I am of the point of view that at the end of the day, it is the captain's responsibility, along with the coach and the team management, to select a team and go for this 11 players representing Pakistan.
Taha, final thoughts. You've got
yes.
something.
Now the coaching panel has been, the selection committee has been reduced. I want to put a question that will the international coaches be here in Pakistan to assess the performance of the domestic cricketers, and if not, they should give a criteria to these local selectors, and then they should select a pool of players in every category: middle order, opening slot, lower middle order, and then the best talent from these pool of players should be selected by the international coaches, because they have that experience behind their back. They know the modern day cricket requirements, so that should be the policy going forward.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful idea going forward. But Taha and Kashif, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. That wraps up the program. For me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.